You have hated somebody for many years. Ask your neighbor, don't you have somebody you have hated for some time? Ask that neighbor, this is the time to forgive this person. This is the time. Because if you don't do that, you can't tap God's blessings. Some people are always hating. I think this is the time to forgive. Putting our relationship right with God, but also with the people whom we have hated. But also those who are hating us, we can forgive them, even though they don't come to us. Because some other people are complicated, like the one you are seated with. So it's or the one whom you think is far from you. So I think some others, we sit them in church, others we sit them in choirs, others we work with them, but they are complicated people. But you can make life easier for God by saying, I have forgiven them.
The moment you focus on God, you are very confident that actually God is hitting my enemy left and right. I do not have to battle about it because your focus is on God.
With just a few days to the celebration of Women's Day, Church of Uganda Family TV brings you inspiring women. And today we spoke to the Very Reverend Canon Dr. Rebecca Nyegenye, the Provost of All Saints Cathedral. When asked about the significance of Women's Day, she emphasized its role in celebrating women's achievements and reflecting on progress towards gender equality.
Within the context of the church, this day is very significant because for us we did take it as a day that women set aside for prayer, but also discussing matters that concern us as women. So it is a day isolated for those issues that specifically now here at All Saints Cathedral, we are going to be having a women's overnight on that day. And that is a time that we have chosen, that is the way we have chosen to celebrate. For some churches, they just call women together and you take it off as a day of prayer and a day of sharing the experiences that women go through. But also we celebrate our feminineness, where you realize that long ago we are not a people, but we are now a people.
Dr. Nyegenye shared that her inspiration to pursue a leadership role came from a desire to serve as a minister of God, and the roles just brought themselves as she encouraged women to always embrace the opportunities that show up.
I think for me, leadership roles were not an issue and they never came to my mind. But my mindset when I started this journey of ministry in church, it was just about me being a minister, me being a preacher of the gospel, about me just telling the story of Jesus to people. But along the way, I have found myself in leadership positions. For example, I found myself being a chaplain at Uganda Christian University. It was something that I didn't expect to be. I now find myself at All Saints Cathedral as a provost. It's not something that I prayed to be, but I found myself in leadership roles. But now I can tell the women out there that you may not aspire to be in a position of leadership, but God knows you as a leader. And if God knows you as a leader, be prepared at any point, at any moment, that you can be called into a position of leadership. And when you are called into a position of leadership, just know that God has called me, and I'm going to do it to the glory and the honor of his name.
Transitioning from her former position as the chaplain of Thornycroft Chapel at Uganda Christian University, Mukono, she contemplates her new role as the first female provost with a sense of great honor. Despite the challenges that came with it, she sees this as a historic moment for women in the church.
I have to say that in the beginning of it, it is something that truly challenged me. I didn't know what I was going to be. When I was really appointed for this office, I really didn't know what to do. But it reflects to me that really a woman can do what they never expected to do. And therefore, for the time, I think this is now the 6th year in this office as a provost, the first woman provost, my mind had to be reset and refocused to understand that actually, if I do it better, another woman will be a female provost. If I don't do it better, then they will keep referring to me as a failure. And my prayer is that I can be able to open the channel for other women to take it on. But also, it helps me to tell other women out there to know that actually it is possible. you can do it. It's not something I do because I know, but it's something I do because God is my helper.
Dr. Nyegenya highlighted the challenges of gender bias and stereotypes, but emphasized that perseverance, hard work, and determination were key to overcoming them.
Challenges have been many. Some of the challenges, of course, being a woman clergy, let me just talk about it at that level, not just being a provost. Being a woman clergy is something that is sort of a surprise to the public. And much as we have been in a system now for quite a number of years, but you come in knowing that you'll be challenged because there are people who would not really want to take services from you. For example, there was a couple I was going to wed, and the parents said no. Our children cannot be wedded by a woman. Sometimes you get to work in a place and you just realize you are not running with the person that you're working with, and so you realize you really have to struggle and you don't want to press hard, so you really have to compromise somewhere to make sure that you are actually working together with a person. But those relationship issues are there, and you'll find them everywhere that you work.
To young women, the provost imparts the advice of self-belief, relentless pursuit of excellence, and the need to be perfect in every aspect of their lives as a means to validate their worth.
When you are aspiring for a leadership role, you must be confident that you have been called for that particular role. If there is no confidence that you have been called, that's where you find women asserting power and beginning to think that, don't you know that I'm here? But for me, if I know that God has called me, for example, when I mentioned that I came to this office, I did not aspire for it, but I found myself there. And I knew that since I'm there and I have not struggled for it, that means God has called me. And for that matter, I have to do the work of God. So I want to encourage women who want to get into leadership. First of all, they have to learn to work hard. You have to be committed to what God is calling you to. You have to know that actually where you are, for men, someone will look at you doing mediocre things and they will just say, it is okay. But for a woman, they will say, oh, she's doing it because she's a woman. So you really have to try and do your best and do it to the best of your ability to show the world that you are. You're not just a woman, but you're a servant of the Lord that God has called for that particular office. And I've seen women out there, engineers with engineering, where they say the women can't. I see women on the road. I see doctors. Wherever you are as a woman, do your best. It is possible to be a woman leader, and it is possible to do it very well and better. So I want to encourage every woman out there that it is possible to be a leader. You can do it, but do it to the best of your ability, and also make sure that you avoid mediocrity.
She envisions a future where women play a greater role in shaping the direction of the church, with their contributions fully recognized and valued.
I see doors open in the Church of Uganda for the leadership of women. For me, being here is something that really tells you that women can be in leadership. And we are having women in positions of leadership. Right now, it was impossible even to find a vicar. A woman, it was impossible. But now, women, even in the Diocese of Kampala, women are leading churches and they are doing it well. The Lord is continuing to unveil or open up channels for women in leadership. We only need to be positioned to serve better. And once we are positioned to serve better, we are positioned not to struggle, we are positioned to wait on God. The Lord is going to position women in the Church of Uganda. I have no doubt about that.
Just surrender your life to Jesus.
This is the Superwoman episode, Church of Uganda Family TV, News at 8.